wild thing is, it's like, who do you grant more respect to? Okay. A couple of guys. All right. This guy came from nothing. He built himself into lower middle class. He's, living in the suburbs, or maybe he's living in the community he grew up in better. And, maybe he grew up single parent household, didn't do well. And he built himself into something that, the rest of the world looks at and goes, meh, average. But that guy took what he was given in this world and he built it into something more, versus the guy who inherits $100 million, lives a fabulous lifestyle. By the end, he's worth $20 million. And for the rest of the world, they can't tell what he's done with what he's been given. He's still vacationing fabulously, sending his kids to private school, driving the best cars. Who does the world look at and declare a success? Who can the world peer through and actually see respectability? What I'm getting at is California was given $100 million in the analogy. California was given everything. California was granted the Pacific Ocean, the mountains. It was granted beautiful weather.
Napa
It was
Valley.
granted everything that would ever want to attract someone to move there. Napa Valley. And this is what California has done with it. They have created a state that people are fleeing from, no matter what Gavin Newsom would do or can do, because he's a genius at twisting and turning numbers. People are voting with their feet. They're fleeing California. They're going to Texas. They're going to Tennessee. They're going to Florida. And their streets are full of homelessness. I think California's population, by the way, to get us into a conversation I really want to have today, I think it's 40% foreign-born, the state of California. 40% foreign-born
We got Hollywood
population.
there. A lot of people have called from all over the world.
That just doesn't matter. Not anymore. Man, I feel like that. I mean, okay.
But to make
that
it,
asset has depleted in value exponentially. In the 90s, you would have said, oh, I want to go to California.
Sure,
I
yeah.
want to be a part of the center of American pop culture, movies and music. And now, I don't hear anyone talk that way. No one. Just as a microcosm, as we've talked about, I know a ton of Californians. I went to college in California. And now, almost all of them send their kids to Texas to go to college. They're going to TCU. And recently, to fulfill my prediction, fellas, I got a few examples of Californians and New Yorkers sending their kids to Texas Tech. There we go, Red Raiders.
Interesting.
Get your guns up.
That's the
when
Ivy
they start
League, right?
leaving
Oh, no,
LA,
sorry.
when they start leaving LA for Lubbock, you've got a real.
There's a real issue there.
By the way,
Sorry.
my wife is from Lubbock.
I didn't say anything. I know.
I love Lubbock, but they write songs about people leaving Lubbock.
To go to California.
And they're leaving the Pacific Ocean to go to Lubbock.
The
good goose
culture,
hunting,
but
I'll
the
tell you
culture
that.
must be so different from California and Texas. I mean, the translation just doesn't make sense to me. Like, how do you come
I do
from
think
California?
Californians, because think about all the factors that went into this. Okay, there's so many if you think about it. Obviously, COVID played a huge role in pushing people out of California. The way that Gavin Newsom literally arrested people on the beach, surfers, just as a microcosm. I think COVID was a real eye opener. I think there's a general quality of life degradation that includes like the homeless problem. Like it's a big, big problem. I do think the foreign-born population, again, which I want to talk about in just a moment here with some of the incredible news of of yesterday and now the debate today. But I do think the foreign-born population of California is something that's pushing people out of California. On the movie front, like how much is actually made in California anymore?
Still,
Every time you
all
turn
the
around, there's
studios.
something. You know what? I would love to look at a percentage of movies and television shows that were made in California in, say, the 90s versus now.
Right. That's true.
Because there's tax incentives in every state. They're going to New Mexico.
Connecticut
They're going
even.
to a lot of places to make movies.
Florida, Georgia, I mean, like a lot of stuff was recorded in northern Georgia. I know Florida, they did that show Bloodline with Netflix.
Stanford, Connecticut gives big tax incentives for
Yeah.
movies. So they make shows movies there.
I remember Adam Carolla talking
All
about
the Taylor Sheridan stuff.
Yep, how he ran into Samuel L. Jackson, and I think in the airport or something, and he was going to Winnipeg
Isn't
to do a
Vancouver's
movie.
huge too, by the way. Big,
Yeah.
big.
So, I mean, you could probably hop on AI right now and find what percentage of movies and television shows were produced in California in the 90s versus now, and I bet it's completely cratered. And then there's one more factor. Speaking of Taylor Sheridan, there was the Yellowstone effect. And I do think that had a pretty big cultural impact where cowboy culture, country music, cowboy boots became, and I don't think it still is, I think there for a good 4 or 5 years, it was sort of the hippest thing in American pop culture. And I think that, along with its, again, it happened kind of at the tail end of COVID, the embrace of freedom and guns and that kind of thing, that a lot of people said, I'm out, I'm moving to Texas. And I remember when I went to college in California, they would say to me, do I ride a horse to school?
That's an
Literally,
honest
I got
question.
to ask that question more than
I
a
would ask
couple of
that.
times. Come on.
It's an honest question.
It's not
like the kid in-
1915.
I ride a bicycle.
The kid in Mighty
I rode a
Ducks
bicycle.
too. He was from Texas, and he had a lasso. He lassoed the guy on the ice.
Yeah.
That's what you guys do.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
movies, so obviously
Yeah.
it's real life is just like the movies.
Yeah. So they think they're moving to Texas and they're going to ride a horse
By
to
the way,
school, I guess.
I got some numbers here. The 90s, almost half of industry production was based in California, came out of California. Now it's less than a third, so less than 30% of the share is from California.
So it's basically been halved.
Yes.
If it was 50% then, now it's around 25%,
Yep.
25 to 30%. It's been almost halved. And also, the whole idea of being a Hollywood movie, aren't the Oscars this weekend? By the way, the Oscars are this weekend, aren't they? That tells
Yes,
something in and of
it
itself
is.
that we don't know.
I know.
Well, I only know because one of our guest hosts mentioned it.
Yeah, Sunday,
For next
7 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. How many movies do they nominate for Best Picture now? Did they nominate 10? Is that what they do?
It's a lot.
Dan, I expect you to be all over this. You just do the
Bro,
Grammys and music.
I'm Grammys,
you don't know
baby.
this?
It's not, you're a movie junkie.
Could you name 4 of the movies right now without looking it up nominated for Best Picture?
Yeah, one that you didn't like and thought it was woke.
Okay, maybe I could do one. Yeah, but I'm putting the over under at 4. And just real quick, again, back in the 90s, I think you could have named all of them, and probably you would have seen all of them. They didn't do 10 back then.
This is a rough list.
We're going to get into what happened yesterday. With these 2 terror attacks in Virginia and Michigan in just a moment. But I just want to do this quick quiz, okay? I want you to put this together on the fly, Dan. I want you to pull a random year from the 90s, and I want you to see how many of do late 90s, because you guys are millennials. I want you to see how many we can name,
94?
me and Patrick, how many of the Best Picture nominees we can name from pick your random year in the 90s and then this year. Okay?
Do 96. 30
And
years
I'll
ago.
put the
I'm doing 98.
I'll put the over under. Okay, fine. I'll put the over under at 75% we can get from that year in the 90s,
Yeah.
and 40% now. So let's do now. The one you're referencing, I think, which I didn't hate but I didn't love, is the one with Leonardo
Battle
DiCaprio
After Another.
and Benicio del One Battle After Another. Yeah. Didn't hate it, didn't love it. Okay, what else is up for Best Picture this year? I don't even know if I can get one other
So
one.
there's one with a very famous actor. He was. I'll give you. You want a hint? He started a
Yeah.
franchise tied to Rocky.
He started
Was
a
it Friday Night
franchise
Lights?
tied to Rocky.
Michael B. Jordan's it.
Creed?
Creed.
Oh, Ryan
He did this movie.
Michael B. Jordan is in it.
Yep. I'm pretty sure he
Sinners?
directed it. Yep. Sinners.
Sinners?
Yep.
I never saw it.
Neither did I. It's
Is
kind
it
of a
good?
musical.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Out.
And then there's a remake of a very famous movie that's nominated. Classically famous movie story. Very famous
I
director.
don't know.
Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, I saw that actually.
I didn't.
It was fine. It was fine.
Felt
It was
artsy.
not. All right, name the other Best Picture nominees, and let me just see how many I've even heard of, or
All right.
maybe I saw and forgot.
Begonia, which was god awful. It was terrible.
Never heard of it. Never heard
Jesse
of
Plemons from Friday Night Lights and Emma Stone. It was really, really bad.
it. Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Yep. And then Hamnet, which is,
Never heard of it.
yep, it's a playoff of Hamlet. Marty Supreme, which was terrible. Timothy Chalamet.
I saw Marty.
Kevin
I saw Marty
O'Leary,
Supreme.
our
I should
guy, was
remember
in
that. Dan, can I tell you? I did not like Marty Supreme either. I didn't
Didn't like
hate
it.
it. I'm not giving it an F. And here's my thing on Marty Supreme. It's the same guy that did Uncut Gems with
Safdie brothers.
Adam Sandler. I just don't like. I don't like his thing. Oh, it's two brothers. I don't like their thing. Like it's tension throughout. Like it's
Yeah.
never alleviated tension.
You think
With
something's
the
about to
music
happen.
and the scenarios.
Yeah.
It's like it's a balloon that never pops but just keeps inflating more. And you're like, oh, there's not an emotional roller coaster to it. There's only like this, like, I guess designed to be white knuckle grip through the whole thing. And that's an exhausting feeling for 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
You know the next one that's up for it that is rare in this category is F1 with Brad Pitt. That's like a classic.
Oh, yeah.
That's a classic Best Picture nominee. And then The Secret Agent.
Is it?
Yeah. It's like a sports movie. You know, you don't usually
I
see that
feel
anymore.
like
They're too artsy.
They didn't start including movies like F1 until they expanded the Oscar field into more mass popular popcorn type movies. They didn't used to do that. Like, I'll bet you when we go back in those 90s ones, they're much more, they're artsy, but we watched the artsy ones back then.
No.
They had more mass appeal.
No.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah, no.
All right, we'll see.
Then The Secret Agent.
Keep going.
And then Sentimental Value, Norwegian movie. And then Train Dreams. I don't know what that is.
None of those.
None of those.
So I've heard of 4 of them, maybe.
Yep.
Seen 3 of them, I think. All right, now what year did you pick? The thing is, on the 1990s, you're going to have to ground me a little bit. Like, why don't you give me the winner, and I'll see what else was that year.
So films from 1997, but the 1998 Academy Awards. The winner was Titanic. Hugely popular
Oh.
film.
Yep.
Yeah,
watched
that's a
this.
See, I'm
popcorn
gonna be,
movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a gigantic popcorn movie.
And
yes.
then As Good as It Gets. Popcorn movie. That I would say that's a rom-com.
Is that Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
Is that Jack Nicholson? Yeah. Yeah.
Diane
Saw
Lane.
it. Yep.
The Full Monty.
I never saw that.
Don't remember is that, I don't know. I don't remember the Full Monty.
The Full Monty was yeah, I honestly have no idea. I've never seen it.
It was English, I think.
Yeah, I think it was British. And then L.A. Confidential, huge movie. Kevin Spacey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then one more that you may have heard of this movie, Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
That's
See,
a
that's what
hell
I'm
of a
talking about.
list.
Where that's like that's an artsy movie that was popular. It's like the artsy movies now don't get so popular, it feels like. Matt Damon talks about this. Like, his entire career was built on those movies that don't get made anymore.
Sure.
Movies that were artsy but yet still got wide release. And you know who was behind it? The guy Matt Damon has said he would not be a movie star in today's day and age because that's how he became a movie star, off of those kind of movies.
Dogma.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein
Oh,
was
yeah.
the guy behind all of those movies.
I know.
So he's got that going for him,
That's
which
true.
is nice. So it's all
It's
to
not all
say,
bad.
he's not all bad, right? So circling the drain, the
Yeah.
state of California. So yesterday was an astounding day in news. And I don't know how, when it comes to news coverage and national news coverage, I don't feel like everyone is feeling as urgent as I am on this subject. People are covering it. So it happened basically during my 4 o'clock show on the Fox News channel, the revelation of basically both shooters. One was a would-be shooter, one was a shooter. Guy who's now revealed to be a Lebanese naturalized citizen to the United States from Dearborn, Michigan. Dearborn is the city where they have a Muslim mayor who said that he doesn't want Dearborn, essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, but to be a welcoming community to Christians. Rams his car into a synagogue in West Bloomfield, Michigan. He's taken down by security, killed. The car apparently was full of incendiary devices, explosives. The guy burns up. And then separately, same day, at Old Dominion University in Virginia, a naturalized citizen from Sierra Leone who had been arrested and served jail time for providing material support to ISIS, shot an ROTC instructor at Old Dominion. Now, I want to take a minute before we get into what I feel urgent about and just say, what a bunch of badasses, first of all, at Old Dominion. Students took down this guy. One stabbed him to death.
Dude.
An ROTC student stabbed him to death. What a bunch of badasses. I mean, America is getting to Flight 93 status on this stuff. Like, we're not running, we're not hiding, you're going to die. And maybe you're going to do some damage, and he killed this man, I think his name was Tyler Shaw, who had served the United States of America in battle zones. This is who he killed. But these ROTC students subdued this guy, killed this guy.
Kind of got
And
him.
then the security guards in West Bloomfield at the temple, taking this other would-be terrorist down, is just an incredible and inspiring story of good guys with a gun taking out bad guys with a gun, actual heroes. And to me, like, okay, you want to attack America? You want to come and you want to attack us? Be prepared. This is the way it should be. Like, be prepared. Remember that scene in Hell or High Water, which is one of my favorite movies, and I reference it often, when the guys are robbing the bank in small town Texas, right? And, what's the actor's name? I love that actor. Ben something. He's playing the Wild brother, and he says to the old guy who's at the teller, he goes, "You got a gun, old man?" And he's like, "Well, hell yeah, I got a gun."
Ben Foster.
You know, that this needs to be the assumption when you walk in to do bad in America.
Yeah.
We got guns. Good guys are here. Good guys are ready to do damage, and we need more of that. And so to hear this prosecutor in Virginia, who is Soros funded, and I don't have his name in front of me, guys, but I believe he's of Iranian descent. I'm not positive about that. Blame guns, like immediately, that's where he goes. He wants to blame guns for this incident in Virginia. This man needs to be raked over the coals, voted out of office at a minimum. And I've got more I want to talk to you about, things we can do in these situations. But this conversation today that I feel urgent about is in direct contradiction to any prosecutor that wants to come out here today and talk about guns. And what I want to talk about is from these two situations to Austin to, I'm going to include this as well, the two would-be bombers in New York City at the protest outside of the Gracie Mansion, the New York City mayor's house. You are talking about naturalized U.S. citizen, naturalized U.S. citizen, naturalized U.S. citizen, and then finally, when it comes to New York City attempted bombers, the children of naturalized U.S. citizens. This is where the situation lies. This is where the debate should exist. And this is where we have to push the conversation today. Yesterday, I put those facts out on X, and I said, we have a legal immigration problem in the United States. And it got a lot of push, a lot of attention. And it gained a lot of response. And I want to share with you some of what the response was, because I believe, quite honestly, as much as I appreciate these responses, it doesn't go far enough. And these guys are welcome on my show whenever they like. But let's start with Congressman Riley Moore, who has been a guest on this show. Congressman Riley Moore reposted what I had to say and said, "This horrific pattern of naturalized citizens committing acts of terrorism against the American people must end. I will introduce a bill to denaturalize and deport any naturalized citizen who, 1, commits an act of terrorism, 2, plots to commit an act of terrorism, 3, joins a terrorist organization, 4, otherwise aids and abets terrorism against the American people." What I would say to Congressman Moore is, yes, of course, at a minimum, and that doesn't go far enough. But we can go further because also General Mike Flynn chimed in, and he reposted Riley Moore and said, "I think you should add to it. While you're at it, outlaw Sharia law in America and add a universal ban on Muslim brotherhood." And then General Flynn tags me in this. And what I would say to General Flynn is, yes, and that's also just a start. That's not far enough. And yet, one more. Senator Eric Schmidt of Missouri, who's also a friend of the program and been on the show quite a bit, he posts what I had to say. And then he said, after the Save America Act, which is being proposed and looks like it's doomed to fail, sadly, to ensure American elections are only decided by American voters, he says we must pass the Scam Act so we can denaturalize and deport those who are here to hurt America. We must denaturalize those who shouldn't be here. Will is exactly right. And then he puts out the bullet points of his proposed Scam Act. It's to expand denaturalization to welfare fraud, aggravated felonies, espionage, and drug cartels, foreign terrorist organizations. And to Senator Schmidt, I would say also, yes, good start, but not far enough. So let's back up now for a moment. Naturalized citizens. Naturalized citizens are immigrants to this country who come in and have to pass a very minimum standard set of issues and tests, civics tests, and get along in the path of naturalization. They have a home country. They want to become American. They become the American citizens. I'm not proposing an end to naturalized citizenship. No. But I am proposing first of all, I'm proposing a very, very, very high bar to naturalization. So this week we talked about this on the 4 p.m. show. You know, if you want to become a citizen of Turkey, for example, you have to have lived and worked in that country continuously from anywhere from 5 to 8 years. The employer who has sponsored you to come over has to show that that employer has also employed 5 Turks to every 1 foreign worker that comes in. You have to learn Turkic, the language. And you have to prove, and this is where I think the conversation needs to exist, right here at this point, because I don't think it's easy and I don't have all the answers. You have to prove some level of assimilation into Turkey, okay, into Turkish culture, into the Turkish way of life. Now, how do they measure that? Who judges it? I don't know. But I put out a post yesterday, tinfoil in 2 days, and I said, these are naturalized citizens, these guys, and they're not fit to be an American. And, some of the people who disagreed with me says, who are you to decide who is fit to be American? Okay, well, I'm not proposing myself to be the emperor over all immigration. But if we can't agree that a person that wants to provide material support to ISIS and then ends up shooting a college isn't fit to be an American, what the hell? Like, what does it mean to be an American? That's like a minimum bar. And when a naturalized citizen comes to the United States, they do take an oath, of allegiance to the United States, dedication to the United States. And I would say somewhere along the way, you have failed that oath. You have failed that test. And I'm suggesting whatever that test is at the front end needs to be much higher. And I'm willing to explore, what do the Turks do? How do they measure assimilation? Like, make assimilation a requirement before naturalization, not a hope after naturalization. You follow?
Yeah.
Do you think that's controversial at this point? Like, in what I've proposed?
I'm trying to think of what, people I know on the left would say, and they would probably just say, well, it's not everyone, right? It's not every Muslim person who comes into this country. So how do you differentiate that. I mean, it's just not an argument anymore. If these things keep happening, there's no defending it.
Well, let me respond to that on two sides.
Sure.
I'm not just talking about Muslims.
Sure,
Okay?
sure.
I'm talking about assimilation and allegiance to the United States no matter where you come from. And also, I'm not talking about all Muslims being denaturalized. I'm not talking about that. But I am talking about that anybody that can't prove up a willingness to be dedicated to the propositions of the United States and assimilate to those propositions, forget propositions, way of life and culture is not fit to be an American. That's got to be a test. And will there be some that satisfy that test? Absolutely. Absolutely, there will be some to pass that test.
We've lost a love for this country in a lot of people. A lot of people have lost a love for this country, so they don't think that someone who comes here needs to love this country either. And that's the divide right there.
See, that's exactly right. And if you were throwing a party and you were putting a guest list of people to come over to the party, and you were like, well, shouldn't we start with people that might want to come to the party, that might enjoy the party?
Yeah.
Or should we invite the people that are going to trash the party?
Exactly.
We're going to invite these hooligans that are going to come over and trash the party. You're going to invite somebody to stay at your house over the weekend. You apply these standards to every aspect of your life. Why would you not apply it to your common civic culture and your country? Why would you not? Like, what's the benefit there to the greater society?
Have you seen the Nick Shirley?
Go ahead.
Have you seen the Nick Shirley Man on the Street stuff in Dearborn, Michigan about, I think it was November? And he asked some Muslims on the street, if America was in a war with a Muslim country, who would you back, America or the Muslim country? And they said that they would support the Muslim country.
Of course. So would a lot of the left.
That seems like, I mean, you can lie about that on a naturalization quiz or test,
Yeah.
but that's a barometer for me right
Yeah.
there. Like, hey,
Dead giveaway.
okay, you're about to be naturalized as an American. Let's just say you come from, let's just pick a country not to offend, right? I don't know.
Norway.
What's the most benign country we can come from? Okay, Norway. Okay, you're coming here from Norway. Hey, by the way, if the United States got into a war with Norway, would you be with Norway or the United States? And if in any way, and if his eyes squint and he thinks for a moment, if the answer isn't instinctually and immediately the United States, sorry, we're going to have to send you back.
Yeah.
By the way,
It's
my
gonna be a
test,
no
you guys,
dog.
I've told you this, my test would be, okay, so here, my test would be stricter. Okay. In the Olympics, if the United States is competing against Norway in bobsled, who are you rooting for? The United States or Norway? If you can't say the United States,
So that's-
I don't think you belong in the United States.
A lot of the left, I was just telling you this, a lot of the people I know on the left, Democrats, are not rooting for the U.S. baseball team in the World Baseball Classic. I know no one cares, but it's our country. It's our
Denaturalize.
team.
Denaturalize.
They're like, go Canada, go Mexico, go Italy. I hope you beat the U.S. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? This is our country. This is the only one I have. I'm rooting for my team.
Okay, well, let's get substantive for just a moment. Pat, you were talking about this. You may have known this, and I'm willing to admit my own ignorance on a lot of this. And, for those of you watching and hanging out with us, you can learn with me. Man, I spent some time on the rabbit hole this morning on some of the immigration policy historically in the United States. So Congressman Andy Ogles, who's been in a lot of trouble this week for different things that he's posted, getting a lot of heat, he did say he is proposing, by the way, doing away with the Hart-Sellers Immigration Act of 1965. And that got me really curious about various things. So you've often heard, well, the United States has always had a high foreign-born population. And that's not true. That's not true. We've gone through waves of this at various times in our country, right? We had a high foreign-born population in the early 1900s. And then it plummets starting in about 1917 to 1924. And from my research, there's two things that happened that caused that plummet. So most of the early 1900s immigration to the United States was from Europe. Originally from Northern and Western Europe, but then it had moved into Eastern and Southern Europe. So it was Poles, it was Italians in the early 1900s. Well, first, World War I starts. And World War I, I think we had immigration waves of about 1.9 million or so a year, 1.7, 1.9 million a year. World War I starts, and the waves of immigration from Europe shut down because all those people that were immigrating are now conscripted and co-opted into armies, and they're fighting in World War I. But the second thing that happens is the Immigration Act of 1917 and then the follow-on Immigration Act of 1924. And those put strict quotas on immigration and really capped numbers and refocused immigration, by the way, largely to coming from Europe and Northern and Western Europe. And it completely shut down immigration from Asia. What you see then happen is immigration as a percentage of the population plummets from 1924 to about 1965. Then in 1965, Congress passes the Hart-Sellers Act. Okay. One of the key sponsors of the Hart-Sellers Act is Senator Ted Kennedy. It was pushed by progressives. It was signed by Lyndon Baines Johnson. And Ted Kennedy at the time says this is going to have a small impact on immigration. At this point, immigration has dropped off significantly. He's like, it's going to have a small impact on it. And these are the words of Ted Kennedy. It will not disrupt the ethnic mix of America. That's what he says. But what does the Hart-Sellers Act do? It does away with the quotas of previous immigration laws according to countries. You know, we used to focus this from this country, this from this country, this from this country. And it ties it to two things: employment prospects, skills and employment prospects, and family reunification. Now, family reunification, Patrick, you probably saw me texting about this a minute ago. I had no idea. I've always known about it, but I had no idea how big family reunification is. You've also heard it deemed chain migration. Yeah. Okay?
Yep.
So immigration from 1965, it takes a few years, but it then begins to explode. Explode. Like in a way that I would have to think, and I'm sure there's going to be some people listening like, no, this was all coordinated, this was all planned. It explodes in a way that I don't think anybody could have actually anticipated. Like, I don't think even the drafters of this knew what would happen. They may have seen the benefits or expected some benefits, meaning Democrats saw it as a potential avenue to getting a new voting constituency. But European immigration continues to decline. Latin American immigration explodes, goes way up. And Asian immigration goes way up later, decades later, but they become the two primary drivers of American immigration, Asian and Latin American. 10 to 15%. So now you're talking about, we have over 1 million. We're not talking illegal immigration. This is only legal. So now you're back up above like the million range every year. 1 million plus legal immigrants coming in every year. Tell me, Dan, if this doesn't blow your mind. You know the legal immigration. What do you presume? How are those legal immigrants coming here? What do you presume? Why and how?
Work visas, I would assume.
Yeah.
Coming to work,
yeah,
going to school.
Right. That's what you presume. 10%, 10 to 15% are coming on employment. 75% is under family reunification and chain migration. So the way this works is you can sponsor your parents, you can sponsor your kids, you can sponsor your brother and sister, and they get in the pipeline to become legal citizens. And then once they can sponsor their kids, their parents. And it goes on and on and on and on and grows like that to the point that 700,000 to 800,000 a year are coming in under family reunification. And you can just see this exploding chain of events.
Birth too.
Which, by the way,
here.
Yeah, there's the birthright citizenship as well. Well, yeah, no, you're exactly right in terms of those wouldn't be qualified under foreign-born population, obviously. That would be under American citizen, but that would be definitely the growth in population from the initial legal immigrant. So that one legal immigrant leads to a massive explosion in the change of America. Okay, well, so what, Will? So what? Well, the so what is, if people are coming over for reasons other than the desire to be an American, perhaps to be living with their family, even the job, whatever. But I would say the job is obviously it's a greater barometer. It means you're bringing certain kinds of people over there and have a certain level of investment with a certain education and a certain able to contribute to society in a successful manner. But the family reunification, it blows all that out of the water. It blows all that out of the water. You're bringing people in with no discernible skills, no ability to add to the society, and questionable allegiances and dedication to the United States of America. And you wonder why. Then, I have these stats, we shared them. 52% of legal immigrant households in America are on welfare. Second generation, it drops down somewhat to, I believe it's in the 30s. Third generation, it goes back up into the high 30s. So you're talking about 3 generations of legal immigrants with over a third of it on welfare, far outpacing, by the way, native-born population. And you can track it all back to, well, what's bringing these people to America in the first place? And the answer we know now is family reunification, chain migration that started in 1965. So the first part of this conversation that I want to have, and I would have with any of these people, these lawmakers, is I think Ogles is on the right path. You've got to revisit the process of becoming a legal immigrant and vet for, at a minimum, dedication to the United States, love of this country, and desire to assimilate into this country. And we have a process right now that puts that nowhere on the priority list. Nowhere. And then we wake up one day and you've got naturalized citizens and the children in New York of naturalized citizens who now wish ill on this country, want to destroy this country. Look at some of the rhetoric coming out of some place like Dearborn, Michigan. The rhetoric is insane. You see these from these mosques or these places, what they're saying, that you should join Hezbollah rather than the American army. You know, you talked about that Somali video. I've seen stuff out of Dearborn, Michigan, Patrick, of them saying stuff like that. I encourage all of you.
American left, American citizens too. It's not just, foreign born. So it's being perpetuated.
But, okay, fair. But we got to deal with one problem at a time. Sure. And if you can't deal with importing this problem, how are you ever going to deal with? Well, are you proposing we denaturalize lefties?
Absolutely not.
I don't know what you're getting at there. Dan, I think you would be on the naturalization list.
No.
You're out.
I just said I love U.S. sports, so.
Okay, one more, and then I want to get to one more element on this, and I want to talk about tipping, because I actually think I love this topic, Patrick, the tipping thing.
What are the metrics, by the way, just that you would see if someone's, loves this country? Or...
Okay, this is where the conversation should be, Dan. This is where I don't have all the answers. And I'm going to come back to that, okay? I'm not dodging that. See, because I'm going to tell you where I have no patience or tolerance for this conversation to exist. Racist, xenophobic, whatever. I don't care. You take that stuff and go yell it at Qatar. Because this is the way Qatar does it. This is the way Turkey does it. This is the way that every country in the world does it. We're the only country, us and Canada and Australia, are really the only countries in the world that don't do it this way, that don't do it their way. In fact, the rest of Europe is beginning to move in this direction. Austria, Hungary, Sweden, Germany, they're all having this conversation because this is what responsible adults talk about when they talk about the preservation of civilization and culture. Ridiculous people yell racist at everything. That's what I think. We have a common culture. I don't care what race you are. I don't care where you come from. If you can adopt the common culture, that's what it is. The dedication, the values, the way of life. That seems a pretty clear prescription for a healthy society. Because I'm not done, Dan, in speaking to Schmidt and Moore and all these guys. Hey. Which, by the way, since we're streaming live on X today, you know what I would love to do? Okay, everybody here is like, Will, we want you to do X more. We want you to do that. Do X spaces. I'm like, what am I going to do on an X space? You know what? This is it. Invite Schmidt or Moore to do an X space right now because I want to know. Can you invite him to this? I want to know, back to the denaturalization thing. I think all this list that I have here from Schmidt and Moore and Flynn are good. But I think there has to be more. Like, if you have somebody who is advocating for the downfall of America, okay, not a simple political disagreement, but advocating for the downfall of America, encouraging their adherents to join foreign armies, I think this should be a trigger for denaturalization. I think we should be able to look at your ideology and the things that you're espousing and say, hey, your oath to the United States of America has clearly been violated. And the standards, by the way, for denaturalization is fraud, if you committed fraud in the process, or a material lie or something like that. Well, and usually that's about, I think it's like if you've ever been convicted of a crime in a foreign country and some things like that, or you lied on your application in some way about your name. But in that application, if you lied about your dedication to America, that, to me, is a material breach of your naturalization process. And I think that now here's the hard part. Just like the naturalization process, Dan, the denaturalization process, you're going to start asking tough questions. The tough questions is, what does it mean to be assimilated? What is violating the oath to America? And obviously, you're going to run into some First Amendment issues. And you're going to say, well,
fluency in English.
Where is reasonable political...
You have to watch Saved by the Bell.
That's a no-brainer. You need to have seen Lonesome Dove.
Yeah, can they look at your social media accounts to see if you've posted anything disparaging towards the U.S. government or the country?
You can already hear the debate. The debate's going to be one over free speech,
right.
And they're going to say, do naturalized citizens have conditional rights that
right. Not full.
Native-born American citizens' rights are absolute on the First Amendment? But the answer is, I think this bar needs to be yet even higher, because I don't think you can have a population living in your country that is openly espousing violence, danger, and treason against the country and still go, well,
but it is free
you're an
speech.
American now. You got the... Yeah, but you lied. You lied about your process.
True.
You lied about your dedication to this country. So whether or not it's naturalization or denaturalization, I think that bar needs to be raised much higher, and that's where the conversation should exist. We can't shut it down with First Amendment. We have to have the conversation there at that point. How are we going to decide these things? That's a responsible conversation. How are we going to decide these things? Because what we have done over the last 60 years, since 1965, is totally blow out the concept of patriotism, dedication to America, by allowing people from across the world to move into America who don't really care about being in America, at a minimum perhaps for their own financial interest, their own economic benefit, but more so even to be with their family, and now sit here within our own borders and advocate for the downfall of America. I think that's where we have to take this conversation. I'm willing to admit you have to go step by step along the way, but that's where I am today. So let's talk about it. Senator Schmidt, let's talk about it. Congressman Moore, let's begin to have that conversation. By the way, everyone in the comments section can contribute. If you have ideas on that, I'm willing to hear them out. How do we start to... And maybe you can't. Gad Saad says this often. You can't parse out. And so, he openly, when it comes to Islam, says you can't parse it out. Who's going to be dedicated and who's not. But
it's like putting it back in the bottle.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the way we do it on Friday. We don't have everything worked out, but this is where we get to work out our thoughts.
People are loving
okay,
it.
Patrick, you take it away. Talk to me about J.J. Watt.
So J.J. Watt was on X yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, and he asked a genuine question on a restaurant situation. He asked, you walk up to the counter to order. You find your own table and seat yourself. If you order coffee, they hand you a cup and you go fill it up yourself. If you order food, they hand you a buzzer, and when it goes off, you pick it up yourself. The iPad has a 20%, 25%, 30%, and other tip option with 20% already pre-selected. What is your move? And it's got tons of people talking about this, about the reality of tipping in today's culture, where everything's more automated.
Man. Boy, JJ is on to something here. I mean,
I have strong opinions.
We have okay, well, let's just lay this out. The tipping thing, it's everywhere now, right?
It's all digital.
Nobody questions whether or not if you sit down at a restaurant and you have a server, tipping. But the walkthrough. JJ described a situation, by the way, where I think the answer has to be 0. Like, you're filling up your own coffee, even, you know. But like, he didn't even describe Starbucks. Starbucks, you go to the counter and you order it, and they make it for you, and give it to you, and you still have the tip option right there. And yeah, I tip that, but every time I'm like, is this a tipping scenario? All the lines, whenever you never sit down, whenever you stand and you only stand, my brain goes, is this a tipping scenario? Right?
Unless you're getting a sandwich
Like-
made, then maybe. Like from scratch.
Like Chipotle?
No, like a deli, right? Like I'll throw some.
Do you tip at Chipotle?
No, actually, you're right. That's fast food, though. It's different because they actually pay their employees well.
Why?
That's the problem. That's
You
the
tip
big
at
difference.
Subway?
No, because they pay their employees better than say some other restaurant or coffee shop. The entire system is
do you
built
know?
off a tipping system because I have a lot of friends who've worked in these things.
Yeah, how do you know what they make?
Like, do you have the budgets?
Yeah, fast food restaurants actually pay their employees fairly well.
I used to work in fast food, and it wasn't
Now they
great.
do.
Oh, okay.
But the tipping thing.
What about if you go like what if you go to a smoothie shop like Smoothie King or Jamba Juice?
if I have $1 or
tip
2,
that?
I will.
Well, everything's digital now. To his point, it's never cash tipping.
If something's made,
Everybody's either Apple Pay or credit card.
I would consider. But I am.
So there's the iPad.
I'm very against
It's
it.
swung around to you, and it's preset to 20%.
No, absolutely not. You can.
By the way,
there's,
15 isn't even on the menu anymore.
there's always an option.
Have you ever
to
noticed that?
go
15
lower,
isn't
but-
even on.
I know.
No, you
They
have
don't
to
even
press the other
offer
button.
15 anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go to other. And boy, don't
But
you
who-
feel like a dirtbag if you do that?
They look at you like, man, you're an a-hole. Like, what are you doing?
You know, somebody did bring this up. Like, they were, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like an in-between person who completes the orders and gets the orders ready to go. There's a word for it. I can't remember. But,
Busser?
huh?
Like a busboy?
No, not busser. It's like they're the middle person that
You're
like
just talking
prepares.
about the thing between not a waiter or waitress, not totally
runner.
self-serve, but just right there in between.
Yeah, there's a term for it we used to have. I can't remember, but like, you know, they like if you go and pick it up or something like that, I do throw a few dollars their way. I don't tip 20% or 30%. You know, I'm pretty good about that when you sit down. But like if I'll still throw a few dollars. You know, just because I know that somebody has to prepare it and prep it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but to JJ's point, the throwing a few dollars, I feel like, is a cop-out. I don't think either of you are carrying around wads of ones. I think your stripper days are well behind both of you. And I don't think you have a pocket full
Got a
of
lot of
ones.
kids.
And
Got
so,
a lot of kids. I got to support
and
them
so
somehow.
You are most definitely carrying digital payments, credit cards or Apple Pay. And so now you're in the iPad scenario.
And you're
So are
talking
you
about
telling
$10,
me
$15
in that scenario,
if it gets up there.
are you hitting other? Are you hitting other?
I'm
You're
hitting
going no. I'm
no most
not
of the
going to
time.
do. You're
I hit other.
you're no.
I'm a
Yeah.
no. Sorry. But like these companies are setting themselves up, these owners are setting up so we, the consumer, are paying their employees for them. They should be paid higher rates like in Europe, like in the rest of the world, get paid actual wages. So we're not paying their employees for them. And so they get away with not paying their employees, and then we have to tip them.
Yeah, but everybody says we have better service than Europe
That's true.
because of this.
Because of tip culture.
Like they tolerate you.
But let's,
at
for
best in
example,
Europe.
I have a bodega right down the street from my place, right? So say I go get a couple of things. So say I get a 6-pack of beer, you know, some gum or whatever, and they turn the thing around.
What a good night.
Sure, they turn the thing around. It just happened yesterday. I don't know, man.
What a party! 6-pack of beer and some gum.
I was gonna say Gatorade,
Nice.
but
Nice.
You know,
Little Netflix.
maybe a black and white cookie. I don't know. Let's get wild. But so there are things that I grabbed in the store, I brought up to the front, and I'm paying with my card, and all they're doing is ringing it out. And there's a tip option. It's 20, 25, 30, so on and so forth. I go there a lot.
Right.
And I never tip because
Yeah.
what is happening?
Oh, they hate you.
But
That's your regulars too.
I know. I'm a regular. I'm an absolute regular. But if I get a sandwich made there, I will tip.
What did the replies say to J.J. Watt? What do the people think on this? This is what it is. In the end, we're all going to fit in. We all think we're unique. We're going to make some big stand like Mr. Pink in Reservoir Dogs, and we're not. We're not. We all fit into what everybody else is doing. You don't want to be the outcast. So what is everybody doing? Can we talk about this openly? Hey, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, like, shh.
Are y'all tipping? Are you not tipping? What are we doing?
No one's here. We could talk about it.
So one of your brethren in the comments there, Hookem says, I tip simply because I know that the servers live in poverty. With your vast amount of wealth, you should also do that. And JJ said, I did tip, obviously. There were no servers in the situation, which is why I asked the question. It was fully self-service.
Have you ever done a huge tip at a restaurant, Will?
I don't think this is a big moral thing. This is not like, that guy put JJ on defense because he's talked about how much money JJ made. And then JJ's like, well, yeah, I do tip, definitely, because I can't be that guy. But we're not talking about, honestly, we're not talking about being cheap or being moral. We're talking about this is a new frontier in societal assumptions. If J.J. Watt and I both sat down to dinner and the assumption is we're going to tip, now we can make judgments on each other on how much you tip. And it used to be 15% was standard, 20% was like, oh, that was a nice tip, and 10% was like, what was wrong with the meal? And we all knew that, right? We all knew that.
Right.
And there's been tip inflation. I think 20 is the new 15, and 25 is a nice tip. I don't know who's doing 30 because they offer 30. This is what I think. Like,
really
20 is a good tip. 20 is a good tip. 25 is like, wow, nice job.
Yeah.
And 15 is now like, I wonder what they were displeased with, right? But the point in this self-service world that he's describing and in the line world is none of us know. We're living on the societal frontier here. There's no assumptions baked in. We don't know what our neighbors are doing. We don't know what the next guy is doing. And we don't know what the level of expectation is. So we're all bumping around in the night, figuring this out,
We know what their political views are, though.
And we don't know. And that's why we're talking about it. What?
We don't know what they're tipping, but we know what
better than liberals.
No, we're just saying, like, we know everything about everybody these days except how they're tipping. We know your political views, what you're wearing, what kind of makeup you
and that's what JJ's trying to figure out. So I don't like that guy going, you make a lot of money.
No.
JJ's trying to figure out, what world do I live in? Like, what's the world now? We don't know the world. That's what we're all trying to figure out. What's the world like?
Someone else said the tipping is for servers who make $2.19 an hour, not for counter clerks making $12 an hour, period.
That's the problem.
Stop the guilt. Which is true. I mean, that's why you tip, is they get a lower wage as well.
Like I said,
But do you think
we're
those
paying
owners
their
are
employees.
lowering the counter?
No.
Are the owners lowering the counter clerk salaries now because tipping is proliferating in that scenario?
No, it's just extra. It's gravy.
Yeah, I don't think for counter employees.
And John Taffer actually talked about this a little bit, like, the rising prices in restaurants, and he's like talking about, people are freaking out over things going up so much. But there are people, he did say that there are restaurateurs who have taken advantage of inflation in order to raise their prices just because they could. And it's actually making the industry worse off. And I think that's kind of a similar situation where, with the tipping thing, I think they're just taking advantage of the situation. Did this come about during COVID?
All right,
Is that
finally.
what happened?
Well, I don't know. Was it tied to COVID? It does feel like it's
feel
been
like it
5
was.
or 6 years
Online
we've been
tipping.
in this scenario.
Yeah. I feel like it was one of those COVID things that flew
this
under
is-
the radar. Anyway,
All right, as we wind it up here today, this is an even tougher debate than the tipping debate. You sent this morning, Patrick, and this really, really.
This isn't that tough. Not tough.
I got high centered on
Not
this.
tough.
I know it's
This is not tough
for
at all.
you. Okay. All right. The tweet is from Onyx. You can only watch one group for the rest of your life. Which one are you choosing? Group A, Masters,
Easy.
the Major League Baseball postseason, the college football playoff, and the Stanley Cup playoff. I know you're both picking that. Group B is NFL playoffs, March Madness, NBA playoffs, and FIFA World Cup. So I know both of you are for sure A, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Postseason baseball, the Masters. Are you kidding me? Playoff hockey.
Hockey is literally the best
It's
of
the
all of
most
them.
exciting thing of all time.
Yeah. The worst is college football playoffs, and that's still great.
Yeah.
That's my number one. That's the hardest one for me to give up. For sure.
FIFA,
Like if I'm
whatever, Mr. Europe.
if I'm ranking these, it would go for me like my favorite is college football playoff, then NFL playoff, and then it might be FIFA World Cup. Yes. And then March Madness.
I could live without it.
And then it's going to be Masters or NBA. But the NBA, see, the thing is, and I love the NHL too. I watched last night the NHL. But for the NBA and the NHL, that's only if the Dallas Stars and Dallas Mavericks are making runs. I won't watch them much
That's lame.
if my team is not involved.
You don't like
It's
the
a shame.
sport.
I will watch the college football playoff no matter who's in it. You know?
Do it for the love
And
of the
same
sport,
thing
man.
with same thing with the World Cup and the NFL playoffs. I will watch that even if America is out early. I'll continue watching the World Cup.
Which we will be.
The Masters. Oh, by the way, Major League Baseball postseason is also Rangers dependent. Totally Rangers
See, that's
dependent.
I love
No,
baseball.
you
I'll
are
watch it.
dependent. Yeah, everything about you is dependent on
Yeah.
if your teams do well. I don't even know if you're a real sports fan. I just
Yeah,
think
do
you're
you
a
like
Dallas
sports, or-
sports fan.
Just Dallas.
I think that's
sports.
what it.
Well, I
in
just
soccer.
told you the ones that I just told you the ones I'll watch without my teams being involved.
Yeah, but that's
Both
not that much.
footballs and soccer. Yeah.
Well, listen, March Madness is coming up. It's extremely overrated. If it didn't have the
Yeah,
first,
I'm not a
it's like the
huge fan.
first 2 days. Like if it didn't have that, by the time it's
Masters?
over, everyone's out.
Can we
No
talk
one
about the
cares.
Masters? I would take off work for the entire Masters tournament. I'd sit there and watch every minute of it. I think it's the most amazing, fun weekend to watch. I don't know if anyone else
I like
agrees.
it when I do it, but I'm just not one of these guys that's a huge golf, like every minute of golf on the majors. And I'm usually a Sunday guy. I watch on Sunday.
I tell my wife, don't
and
bother
hope that
me.
it's March Madness, Patrick. You're not wrong. Like but it's got so much nostalgia built into it for me that I have a hard time admitting that it's getting to what it is. Like in my lifetime, March Madness would have been a top threer on this list.
Yeah.
And the fact that we don't know any of the players involved, that's totally destroyed it, right?
Totally.
The one and done thing and the transfers has totally destroyed.
If you don't have a
it.
team.
I'm not making a moral argument on it, but like we just have to recognize that has happened to March Madness. It just has destroyed our ability to connect with these teams and these players. I will tell you, Patrick, to your point, if the Stars are in the NHL playoffs, and there's nothing that matches. I mean, it is so great when you're invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't feel the same thing when I'm not invested in it. Will you watch it even if the Panthers aren't involved at all?
Well, I'm going to have to, but yes, I definitely will be. We sucked this year, but we're retooling and going to be back next year to win it again. But I will definitely be watching because there are so many good teams, and you're just on the edge of your seat the whole time, and it doesn't even matter if it's your team. It's like, and especially if you get into overtime.
Can we just say something else about hockey really quickly?
So fun.
Hockey is a sport that has done a good job, I think. I went to a Stars game on Friday. You guys know I went with John Androsic.
I'm so
Yeah.
jealous.
Five for Fighting, friend of the program.
I just told the chat.
And innovation in hockey Patrick may disagree with this. 3-on-3 overtime is great. And then a shootout at the end of 3-on-3 overtime
I don't know.
is pretty great. Like, I think it's a
Shootout's
pretty
terrible.
awesome way.
It's fun to watch,
I
but
think
it's
it's
bad
pretty
for the sport.
fun, man.
It's bad for the sport. Fun to watch.
What do you
I
want?
like
You want-
three.
You wanna
Three
keep-
on three is good.
keep it regular?
for regular season.
Yeah, because it just takes down like all the Canada people were complaining because they're like, oh, US won because there's only 3-on-3, so anything.
Okay, they can shut up. They won a gold medal like a few Olympics ago on 4-on-4.
Sure.
Okay, so it's like they can shut the hell
But it
up.
creates an excuse. Is what
I'm tired of
saying.
them whining.
You know what I mean?
But they had
Here we go.
their three were like three of the best players in the world. Like, what are you bitching about?
I know. I agree with you, but
Like, you should have won with
Patrick
the three
Freddy-
best players in the world.
he's been waiting for this still.
Patrick's ready to deport and denaturalize the Canadians.
All Canadians.
Include your
Well,
family, Dan.
Not all Canadians. It was I mean, there are great Canadians like Norm Macdonald. You
Get
know,
him out.
who's no longer with us. But yeah, I mean, or one of our guest hosts next week, Aaron Berg, I believe, is from Canada.
If you say A, you're gone.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to
boot?
pick B, by the way, but I think
would.
Yeah, I'm picking B. I'm picking B. The college football playoff cannot overcome NFL, World Cup, and March Madness for me. Can't overcome it.
We need to
And
have a
those-
question.
And I think the entire world would take obviously B.
We need to have a question about, or
Yeah, I
a
think so,
conversation
too.
about, like, taking away your voting rights. I think. We can't trust you. Yeah.
Me?
Yes. This is terrible.
See, this is the world I want to live in. I want to live in a world where I can be called before an immigration judge because of my take on this. And I want to be able to make my case. I want this world where everybody, and I mean, it wouldn't really matter because you wouldn't get to nominate me. I deported you a long time ago, Patrick. You've had a whole host
I'm
of
gone,
takes
too.
that have put you never even got in, Dan.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
for a variety of reasons. I'm excited to see how many people on our new platforms take everything we say absolutely seriously.
I know.
So, that's,
I can't wait.
okay, that
So,
is.
before
we're
we
normally
leave-
streaming live on YouTube. What? Yes, go ahead.
You're off next week. So, just so the
Yeah, I
people
am off
know,
next week.
we got a great lineup of guest hosts. Aaron Berg, comedian, is going to fill in on Monday. Tom Shalhoub on Tuesday. Tim Young, who's a friend of the program, is going to be on Wednesday. And Michael Mouse is going to be in your studio on Thursday, filling in. So,
Nice.
join us.
Michael's going to be here in Dallas on
Yeah.
this studio.
Yeah, the studio.
Look at Michael. Awesome. Yeah. See, if, Michael may get us canceled.
That's what I was worried about. I said that
careful.
to Patrick. I was like, "Are you
Yeah.
sure about this?" He's not. I was
Well,
like,
Michael got approved. He got approved
Yeah.
Yeah, I just do what I want. So,
by the bosses.
Yeah. Apparently.
I'll be on spring break next week. But you can always
Have
catch us
fun.
Monday through Thursday live at YouTube, maybe increasingly on X as well. And Facebook, we're streaming live as well. But if you ever miss any of the lives, you can subscribe to Spotify or Apple. We will see you again next time.